Before you think, before you analyze, before you try to be logical, pause and notice what already happened inside you. Out of 5 necklaces, your attention moved toward one of them. Maybe it was instant. Maybe it was quiet. But something in you leaned in, almost as if that necklace wasn't new at all, but strangely familiar, like it had been waiting in the background of your inner world for a long time. That moment matters more than most people realize. We like to believe our choices are rational. We tell ourselves we compare, we judge details, we weigh pros and cons, and then we decide. But symbols don't work like spreadsheets. When the mind sees a symbol, the thinking part often steps aside, and something deeper reaches out first. A silent inner compass, an emotional memory you can't fully explain, a part of you that doesn't speak in words, yet somehow still knows. And for thousands of years, necklaces have meant far more than decoration. People wore them as protection, as identity, as remembrance, as power. Across cultures and centuries, symbols were chosen not mainly to impress others, but to express what lived within the wearer, what they feared, what they valued, what they were becoming. That's why your choice here isn't random. In this test, you're not choosing a necklace you would buy. You're choosing a mirror of your current inner state, not the person you've always been, but the person you are right now in this exact season of your life. So take a brief moment and look at the 5 necklaces again, slowly. Notice which one creates a feeling in you, calm, curiosity, or even a small discomfort. Don't force the why. Don't argue with yourself. Let instinct speak first. There is no correct answer, no best symbol. Each necklace carries a different psychological energy, and each one resonates with a different inner need. What matters is honesty, choosing without trying to shape the outcome. And if you're still unsure, that uncertainty is part of the message too. Sometimes hesitation isn't confusion. Sometimes it's your inner world whispering, "Pay closer attention." Before we go deeper, one simple thing. If you enjoy reflective tests like this, quiet moments that help you understand yourself more clearly, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It helps this space grow, and it allows us to keep making content that goes beneath the surface. And if you want, leave a comment with the number or a quick description of the necklace you chose. Seeing other people's choices often brings unexpected insight, because sometimes we recognize ourselves more clearly through contrast. Now, we begin. In the next part, we'll start with the first necklace, a symbol of inner calm, emotional depth, and intuition. If that necklace pulled you in, listen closely. What it reveals may explain more than you expect. And even if it wasn't your choice, stay with it anyway, because sometimes the messages we resist are the exact ones we're meant to hear. If the first necklace drew your attention, the pull likely felt subtle rather than dramatic. It didn't demand to be chosen. It didn't try to impress you. It simply waited, quiet, steady, present, like a soft light in a room you've known for years. This necklace speaks to people who live much of life inwardly. You may not always express everything you feel, but that does not mean you feel less. In fact, it's often the opposite. Your emotional world runs deep, layered with sensitivity, perception, and nuance. People who choose this necklace often notice what others miss: a shift in someone's tone, a pause that carries meaning, the emotional temperature of a room before a single word is said. You are intuitive not because you try to be, but because you listen. You sense before you decide. You feel before you speak. There is a quiet strength in that. While others rush forward, you pause. While others react, you reflect. Somewhere inside you, you understand that not every moment requires action. Some moments require awareness. And this choice often reflects someone who values emotional safety, inner balance, and authenticity. Not as a trend, but as a need. You're likely selective about who you allow close. Not because you are cold, not because you are distant, but because you are careful with what is sacred in you. When you open your inner world, you open it sincerely. You don't play with connection. You don't fake closeness. You either mean it or you stay quiet. But every strength has a shadow, and the shadow of this necklace can look like retreat. At times, you may go too far inward. You may hold emotions quietly instead of letting them move through you. You may carry burdens alone because it feels easier than translating your inner experience into language that others might not understand. And when the outer world grows loud, when people talk over you, rush you, pressure you, you might begin to doubt your intuition, even when your inner voice already spoke clearly. So the deeper message of this necklace is not withdraw more. It is trust. Trust that your intuition deserves space in the real world. Trust that your feelings are not weaknesses, they are signals. Trust that being gentle does not mean being powerless. Growth for you does not mean becoming louder or harder. It means learning when to step forward, gently, honestly, without apology. It means allowing yourself to be seen without feeling that visibility equals danger. If this necklace chose you, your current life phase may be asking you to balance stillness with expression, to honor your inner calm, while also letting your truth have a voice. And now, notice how the energy begins to shift, because the next necklace carries a heavier presence. Darker, rougher, more intense. Where the first one speaks in whispers, the next one speaks from the depths. It reflects a different kind of strength, one shaped by confrontation rather than contemplation. As the energy shifts from calm to weight, this second necklace doesn't arrive gently. It carries presence, density, like something that has lived through storms and didn't ask to be rescued from them. If this was the necklace you chose, it may have felt heavier, not just in appearance, but in emotion. There's something raw about it, unpolished, almost fierce in its honesty. And that is precisely the point. This necklace speaks to those who have lived through intensity rather than avoided it. You are not drawn to illusions of constant light or effortless happiness. You understand, deep down, that strength is often forged where things break, not where they remain untouched. People who choose this necklace tend to be emotionally resilient. You may not describe yourself as soft, but you are deeply human. You've faced moments that required endurance, emotional pressure, disappointment, responsibility, loss, or long stretches of holding yourself together when no one truly saw what it cost you. And instead of collapsing, you adapted. That adaptation is a kind of courage most people never learn. This choice often reflects someone who has looked at their own shadow and didn't turn away. You understand that pain, anger, fear, these are not flaws to erase. They are experiences to integrate. You are realistic, grounded, and often far stronger than others assume, because they only saw the surface of your composure, not the battles behind it. But shadow carries weight. And the shadow side of this necklace can look like armor. You may protect yourself by staying emotionally guarded. You might keep people at a distance even when part of you wants closeness. Trust doesn't come easily, not because you are incapable of connection, but because you know what it costs to open. There can also be a tendency to carry everything alone. To believe vulnerability is a risk, not a bridge. To hold control tightly, because control once kept you safe. So the deeper message of this necklace is not stay hard, it is transformation. You are being invited to soften without losing your strength, to allow others to witness your depth without feeling exposed or unsafe. Because the shadow doesn't disappear when it is ignored, it becomes wisdom when it is understood. If this necklace resonated with you, your current life phase may be asking you to release the need for constant control. Not to abandon self-protection, but to loosen it where trust has been earned. To stop treating every open door like it must lead to danger. And now, as we move forward, notice something important. The emotional tone begins to lift. The next necklace carries warmth instead of weight. Where this one speaks of endurance, the next speaks of expression. Where this one was shaped by what you survived, the next reflects what you are ready to become. And even if this necklace wasn't your choice, its presence reminds us of a truth many people avoid. Every person carries a shadow. Not everyone chooses to face it. But those who do, rarely remain the same. After the weight of the shadow, this third necklace feels different the moment you notice it. There is warmth here, clarity, momentum. If the third necklace caught your eye, it likely felt energizing rather than comforting. It didn't pull you inward, it invited you outward. This is the symbol of people who feel a strong connection to purpose, direction, and expression. Those drawn to this necklace often carry an inner fire. You may feel most alive when you are creating, leading, building, or moving something meaningful forward. You're not satisfied with simply understanding life from the sidelines. You want to participate in it, fully. This choice reflects confidence, but not the fragile kind that needs constant approval. It speaks of self-belief rooted in intention. You likely have a natural ability to inspire others, not by force, not by loudness, but by presence. When you move with clarity, others tend to follow, and with that clarity often comes responsibility. You may feel called to be more, to use your time well, to leave something behind that matters. You are aware of your potential, sometimes painfully aware, and that awareness fuels your drive. You don't just want a life that looks good. You want a life that means something. But light has a shadow too, and the shadow of this necklace can feel like pressure. You may carry an unspoken belief that you must always stay strong, focused, motivated, productive. Slowing down can feel uncomfortable, almost like danger. Like rest might dull your edge or disconnect you from your direction. You may worry that if you stop, you'll lose momentum, or that people who rely on your energy will be disappointed. Sometimes the hardest thing for someone like you is not effort, it is permission. Permission to pause without guilt. Permission to rest without feeling like you're falling behind. Permission to be human even when others see you as the capable one. The deeper message of this necklace is balance. Your light is not meant to burn endlessly without renewal. True vitality doesn't come from constant motion. It comes from alignment, knowing when to act and when to pause. Purpose is not proven by exhaustion. It is sustained by awareness. If this necklace resonated with you, your current life phase may be asking you to reconnect with why you move forward, not just how fast. To let your energy come from meaning, not obligation. To stop measuring your worth by output alone. And now, notice how the tone begins to soften again, because the next necklace steps away from ambition and expression, turning instead toward restoration. Where this one shines outward, the next draws energy back inward, toward healing, grounding, and renewal. After the brightness and outward energy of the third necklace, this one feels quieter, but not weaker. It feels grounding, restorative, alive in a slower, steadier way. If the fourth necklace resonated with you, Your attention may have been drawn to its natural texture rather than its shine. There's something honest about it, imperfect, real, soothing. It doesn't ask you to perform. It doesn't ask you to prove anything. It simply asks you to come back to yourself. This necklace speaks to those who are in a phase of healing, not necessarily from one dramatic event, but from long periods of emotional strain, self-neglect, or imbalance. You may have spent much of your life giving, adapting, or staying strong for others. You may have learned to keep going even when you were running low inside, and now something within you is asking for care. People drawn to this necklace often value harmony over intensity. You seek stability, emotional clarity, and a sense of belonging, not through external approval, but through inner alignment. There may be a growing desire in you to slow down, to listen to your body, to simplify, to create space where you can breathe again. There is wisdom in this choice. Healing is not weakness, it is awareness. It is recognizing that growth sometimes requires rest, not effort. That balance is not achieved by doing more, but by doing what truly nourishes you. This necklace reflects someone who is beginning to understand that your energy is not unlimited, and that your inner world deserves the same loyalty you've given to everyone else. But this path has a shadow too. The shadow of this necklace can look like disappearing in peacekeeping. You may struggle with boundaries because you don't want conflict. You may take on emotional responsibility that does not belong to you, simply to keep the air calm. You may give too much too quietly until exhaustion sets in. Then wonder why you feel empty, even though you've been doing the right thing. You may postpone your own needs, telling yourself they can wait, even when your inner voice has been asking for attention for a long time. So the deeper message of this necklace is permission. Permission to pause. Permission to say no. Permission to heal without guilt. If this necklace chose you, your current phase of life may be inviting you to restore your energy before moving forward again. Not because you are failing, but because you are finally listening. Healing is not a detour from purpose. It is part of purpose. And now, as we approach the final necklace, notice how the energy shifts once more. The next symbol carries mystery rather than comfort. Where this one heals what is tired, the next awakens what is hidden. It speaks to curiosity, meaning, and the desire to understand something deeper than the surface of life. This final necklace does not ask to be understood immediately. It invites curiosity, reflection, a willingness to look beneath the surface. If the fifth necklace was the one you chose, you may have felt drawn to its mystery rather than its comfort. There is something symbolic about it, layered, complex, slightly elusive. It feels like a question more than an answer, and that's exactly why it calls to you. This is the necklace of seekers. People who resonate with this symbol often sense that life holds more than what is visible. You question meanings, patterns, and invisible connections. You're not satisfied with simple explanations because you feel almost instinctively that life unfolds on multiple levels at once: psychological, emotional, and spiritual. This choice reflects a mind that looks for truth beyond appearances. You may feel called to understand yourself deeply, to explore ideas, philosophies, inner worlds that others overlook. Curiosity isn't a hobby for you, it's a way of being. You may notice synchronicities, moments that feel too aligned to be random. And deep down, you may carry a quiet sense that your life is guided by something unseen: intuition, timing, fate, meaning. To you, moments rarely feel accidental. Even challenges often reveal a hidden message when you step back and reflect. But depth carries a shadow, too. And the shadow of this necklace can look like drifting. You may overthink. You may live inside your head, inside symbols, ideas, possibilities, until the present moment feels distant. Sometimes the inner world becomes more compelling than the outer one. And in that space, you might feel disconnected from people, or even from yourself. So the deeper message of this necklace is grounding. Wisdom is not meant to float above life. It is meant to be lived. Insight becomes powerful only when it is integrated into daily choices, relationships, actions, boundaries, commitments. Awakening is not escape. It is presence. If this necklace chose you, your current phase of life may be asking you to bring what you know into what you do. To let meaning shape your actions, not just your thoughts. To take what you sense in the invisible world and anchor it into the real one, step by step. Because understanding is beautiful, but embodiment is transformation. And now, as we step back, something becomes clear. Each necklace represents a different inner movement. Intuition, resilience, purpose, healing, awakening. None of them cancel the others. In truth, they are all parts of the same human journey. Your choice does not define you forever. It reflects where you are now. If you feel comfortable, share in the comments which necklace you chose. Often reading other perspectives reveals something new about our own. And if this reflection resonated with you, explore other tests on the channel. Each one is another invitation to listen more closely to yourself. Because the symbols may change, but the journey inward always continues.